What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Survivor Now podcast. Now, I have some people to introduce here before we get started. They're all my number ones, but who is the real number one? That's what we need to figure out here, right? So I got my friend Will. He's joining us again tonight. I've got Abraham, and we are joined today by a very special guest. I got stuck between saying for and from season 41 of Survivor. I am joined by Naseer. Naseer, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Drop the 4, keep the 1, right?
Hey, that's us.
Hey. I thought we were done with that saying, and now it's come right back full circle.
We'll be always the number 1 after dropping that 4, right, Abraham?
Hey, you can own our season, the only season you can say that on. So let's go ahead and hold on to that.
I mean, you could say drop the 4, keep the 2, but like you said, it doesn't have the same ringer to it.
Nobody cares about second.
All right. Well, once we get started here, this is what we're starting to figure out on this podcast. And it's so hard to get a word in edgewise when you have Will and Abraham here talking along with it. I had to throw some shade there. But no, I have to get Naseer's opinion first before we get into the episode that happens last night. Naseer, what are you thinking about? I mean, just in general, like the new era of Survivor, season 42. What are you thinking about the whole thing so far?
Well, so far, season 42, it is great. I'm really enjoying it because it's totally different, right? When you see like we were there, right? I mean, like there a couple months ago, or maybe like right before they got there, right? So overall, it is firing up. I really like it. Enjoying the cast. Very nice cast, though. They did a good job. And there are nice people out there on this cast, I would say.
it's starting to heat up, like you say. Yeah, super nice people, except for Tori. We'll get to Tori. I'm not saying she's mean outside the game, but Tori is definitely shaping up to be the villain this season.
I did not see, but they, that is their target, or let's say that is how they do cast, right? They need to have different personalities. That is the reason the show runs for this many years, over 2 decades. So that is a success, very successful, right? So they have to have that, all-in-one package. For us to enjoy and play maybe again with Abraham.
Oh man, we've already been saying, Abe and I have been saying for a long time, let's just run season 41 back, same cast and everything, but just switch up
I want
the
to try. Yeah, I'm gonna pick my own tribe. I'm jumping. Hey, I'm booting somebody off with a blue tribe.
No, that's what he kept saying. Is Abraham keeps saying this year that he wants to be on the blue tribe. He's like, blue tribe didn't have to go to tribal at all. Like, imagine how easy they had it.
Well, Naseer was there.
Hey, look, even when they wanted to throw challenges, Naseer was there.
Oh man, Naseer, one of my favorite moments, but we'll kind of hit some of that at the end of the episode here. We've got some questions as well. Since Naseer's here, we got audience participation today, so we're going to try to get to as many of your questions as we can. I wrote down a few of them here. And Naseer, one of them, just spoiler alert, they're about your darkest moment on Survivor, not playing the idols. So we're gonna have to get to that too, because somebody asked about that. So I'm sorry to bring it up.
I'm happy to talk about it. Trust me.
All right. Well, let's get into this. Last time we left Survivor, we were seeing this very exciting, eventful tribal where Daniel is like public enemy number 1, and he is just making a mess out of things. So basically we get back and Vadu is really still reeling from that tribal. So Abe, I'll start with you. What is Daniel's position in this game, and does he have a way forward? Because like I said, they got back in high. I said it at the time. He's not going to want to be with Daniel, even though he's like, oh yeah, I promise we'll be with you. And they got back to the tribe, and that's not what's happening here.
Daniel. Oh. He made a mess of it. He made a mess of it and threw everybody under the bus. So no matter if you wanted to play with him, now you just don't trust him because he just threw everybody under the bus and nobody knew where he was coming from. All it looked like was Daniel is out for Daniel, which now paints a bigger target on his back because everybody's gonna be like, we got to get rid of this guy. He's not doing anything. Daniel just imploded.
Will, it's a mess. He is like completely messing up his game right now. And the thing is, too, we can talk about this too, guys. I feel bad for Mike in this situation because he wasn't even really saying anything. He's just like, look, you played me. You just say it, you played me. But then it was Chanel who just put out there that he has this idol, basically the beware advantage that Naseer, you got to go through with the GOAT on AstroTurf. So I'm going to get your opinion in a second here. But Will, this is just a mess all around for the Vadu tribe.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, Tribal is where Daniel could really salvage his game. And I think he had a right idea of throwing the blame on Chanel and trying to make her seem like this huge person who like made everyone put the blame on Daniel. But Daniel's problem is he doesn't know how to go about things. I think he has the right ideas. And I think just him like being a super fan, like he knows the proper strategy. But he just doesn't know how to convey that properly. And I feel like everyone else, like Hai and Chanel and Mike, they're doing a great job at being like rebounding after that tribal council. And Daniel is just left in the mud, stick in hand, like, guys, what just happened?
But Daniel's a law clerk, so he should be able to articulate something.
Exactly. That's what we all said. That's what Hai said.
Wow. Naseer, shed some light on this situation because you've been there on the island. You know, Will and I are not like you and Abe. We don't know what it's like to be out there and actually be in the heat of the moment and starving and everything. So Naseer, what's going on with the Vadu tribe and what's your opinion on this whole Mike Daniel situation?
So let's begin this way. I don't know if they have been, all these players are super fans or somewhat level of fans, right? Of Survivor, right? So first thing first, if you find an idol, why do you have to share with everyone?
Tell everybody.
Everybody. Oh yeah. Like in addition to that, like I understand they're playing and they're very nice people, but like I think after a long time, I'm the only one. I mean, I'm the one of the only one with some other few that did not disclose my idol or my phrase or anything. I know I never had a vote until I say the phrase and everything, but here everyone knows everything what's going on.
Everything.
On top of that, Mike shared with Daniel. Daniel, like, he lost the idol and he got the clue. All right. and I understand Daniel is trying to do everything possibly he can do to stay and to he's owning the mistakes, but at the same time, it is not like Will say, he's not approaching in a way that people can, he's not approaching the right way, or he's not being sincere, looks like. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This has been a big problem of what we've been talking about on this podcast for every single show we do. And that's what happened to the days of like, you get an idol or an advantage and nobody knows. And props to you, Naseer. The audience didn't even know you found that idol. You just said the GOAT on AstroTurf.
Yeah.
You just said the line and we were like, wait a second, what? And then cue the flashback.
So, well, I want to share with this. I promise to myself there are two things I will never do on Survivor. All right. If I found an idol, I will never share with anybody. All right. And also the other things, I will never throw a challenge.
Okay. I'll just throw it out here real quick. Did you know anything about the challenge throwing? Like, did they approach you?
Well, let me put this way. I'm not. All right. So what happened was Deshaun, my buddy Deshaun, is normally good at throwing stuff like prior to that challenge. Like a sandbag, he threw it up on the pole. He won the challenge. He put everything. Yeah. Then we had a discussion. If it's something shooting straight, that's going to be me. All right. So I know how to shoot things. I'm a cricket player. I can throw balls like this.
Okay, yeah.
So if something about 10, 15 feet high, forget about me. So that is the deal, all right? So then I know that I was on the chopping block at that time, but at the same time, I don't want to show them that I am on the chopping block, but I want to show them that I'm the happiest kid out there. So they will be confused and thinking, why is he acting even like that, right? That is my master plan.
Yeah.
So it happened perfectly. So they did not tell me, but that challenge they want to throw, I don't know. Then Danny Deshaun, pretty good athlete, and especially Danny, and helping things out. Like I literally carrying a puzzle bags in one hand, and the other hand I'm holding Erica's shoulder, and I'm swimming with my feet, literally. I'm then I see Deshaun. He's just barely moving around. It's okay. Then what happened was. I don't know what's going on. So, like, okay, I will get it. I'll get it. I see Deshaun is trying to unknot the
he was trying to tie them back, is what he was trying.
But
we some
what I'm
dirty
going
players
to
on
do
my
is
season.
I am going to keep moving forward. I don't know what's going on, and I start pushing that. When we are pushing that, Danny intentionally lost his ring. They did not share that. Then he's
What?
like, "Oh, bro, I lost my ring." I'm like, "Don't worry, go ahead and find it. I got this." So I was pushing by myself, right? Literally, Danny holding his hand. It's okay. Then what happened was until Deshaun started throwing, we always had a deal like when we are trying to throw, try a couple of times. If not, we rotate, right?
Mhm.
So in that particular moment, I can see that Deshaun is not really trying. I've been asking, may I come inside? May I come in? He's like, no. Then I'm like, okay, something going here wrong. I can feel it then. Like then he threw a ring, many rings. Then it went off of the platform. He tried to get out, so he was already out. That was the moment I got in and
Yeah.
that.
It was. I
Yeah.
hope you know, Naseer, that was like one of the most iconic moments in season 41.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is-
yeah.
And you know what happened? And the following channel, Danny and Dishan came and told me, can we throw the challenge?
Oh,
They
and
didn't
I
tell me.
hope you said no.
I said no.
Well,
That's why they didn't tell him.
I know where Naseer stands on this, but like we've talked about it before, would you ever throw a challenge? And I just think it's got to be one of the dumbest moves in Survivor to throw a challenge and just give up. Because how many times does it just, I mean, we're going to get to the vote, tonight or last night where everyone thought they knew what was going to happen, and it's Survivor. Like anything can change like that. And so why would you even take that risk?
In addition to that, if you have noticed, like after watching the season, if we know what happened, like almost every single tribal council went on live, right?
Yeah.
No matter what you have, you are not safe. Even if you have if you have the necklace around
Somebody got something to say.
I mean, like somebody else maybe have a idol nullifier, or maybe they can steal that necklace. So
Or talk to Eric. Just give the necklace up. And
yeah. So I rather win the challenge and sit on that bamboo until next day.
Yeah.
Well, this is a good segue onto the next point I have, and I am so happy I have two members of season 41 here because we get to a reward challenge. Which one? I love that there's a reward challenge. That's something Australia does. They do a ton of them. But let's talk about the reward to this challenge, and that is they get 10 fish.
Unfair.
And Naseer, I was trying to tell him that. I said, man, we had the
That's
worst
unfair.
rewards.
You can put everywhere this video. It's unfair. I was telling. So, well, you remember we lost that challenge. Tiffany from Yasa got just one blue fish. That's it. Right? Yeah. And I really love Jonathan. He's really playing good game, very humble human being, and he's always like talk about teamwork and all kind of stuff. But he can fish too. He's a surfer. Business in the boarding business and all kind of stuff, right? I mean, looking at his Instagram, he posted a lot of people. Then Jeff he described like, okay, you got like 10 medium fish. I was thinking like Sydney and Danny caught like small fish. Right? Like one of those. If we had that fish, we could have lived the entire 26 days over there, no problem.
Hey, look. Hey, when we wasn't fishing, it was big fish, but no.
You guys were kind of the guinea pigs though, because I think that's why they gave them more fish. They let you guys starve with the one fish you had, and then they're like, look, we got to feed them a little bit more. So let's just give the next batch of people, let's give them 10 fish. Will, is coming from a fan's perspective, because Naseer and Abraham have been on the island and seen the fish. Am I the only one who thinks those fish look very cartoony?
Oh, they did.
Oh, they were real fish. They were real.
I believe it.
They look very tropical. I thought the editors though just like kind of drew their own fish. They look very bright and colorful, and I'm like, wow, that looks so delicious.
See,
it is. I wish we had those fish. That was the first thing I told. Wow, that is unfair.
How many? I've talked to Abraham about like how they were surviving on the Yasa Beach. How are you guys doing on food? Like during your time?
I talking to you or Abraham?
Oh no, I'm talking to you.
We didn't have any breadfruit. All we had was coconut. We had coconut was on there. We had a bunch of coconut, a bunch of water, and that was it. And one breadfruit and crabs. You could find crab. Rock crabs.
Did you have at least breadfruit on your side, Naseer?
Yeah, I was the provider in Luvu. All right.
Yeah.
So we had breadfruit, but it's not that easy to go and climb. Okay, literally had 2 trees, but I show them always the hardest and the tallest tree, so they will not follow me. So I can go and find idols.
Hey, look, that's a good move.
Yeah.
All right. Then I go pick some coconut, and because my Luvu members, they don't move. They like to sit and just wait. All right. They don't want to lose energy. Then okay, I will go pick coconut, like a 6 coconut. I drink 4 of them, bring them 2, cut them, and I will share with them as well. We have that too as well. So I don't want to burn my energy, right? But when it comes to breadfruit, they want to see. They want to see where I'm going to get this food and everything. They follow me. Then I've taken them to the tallest tree, and I climb like a 10 to 20 feet and carry a bamboo. Then I pick one. All right. So basically, when they're not there, I go to the other tree, pick by hand, and come.
Abraham, are you taking notes? This is how you survive. You just got to be the provider.
Look, I didn't know Naseer was that strategic. He was like, "Hey, way to go, Naseer."
Well, we basically see Jonathan once again dominate in this challenge, which I know you love, Abraham, and we're going to get to your opinions on Jonathan. But basically, Yase wins, and they win the 10 fish reward. There was just one winner here. But Will, I'll go to you for this topic here. There was something happening here during this time with I don't know if I said Yasa. I think I did say Yasa. No, sorry. It was not Yasa who won the tribe. I'm drawing a blank. It was basically the orange tribe. Taku.
Taku.
Yeah.
But there was something else happening with Taku here. And that was between Marianne and Jonathan. And this is something I really didn't see, but you saw when Jonathan was talking to Jeff about, we are a tight 4 there. We are, you can't break us up and stuff like that. You instantly see Marianne like, okay, shut up now. Like, come on. What is going on? Because as far as I know, they're winning every challenge. Why are you fighting kind of interior here? Like, just be happy.
Well, here's the thing. When it comes to a time for the merge or a swap, I think Marianne doesn't want to feel like she's locked in this Taku strong alliance. When Jonathan says we're a tight 4, that's a mistake I've seen before in Survivor, where people are like, okay, that's an obvious alliance when there's a merge, so we should pick them off one by one. And I think Marianne's fear is that if they do get into a merge, Jonathan will win the first challenge because Jonathan's just amazing at challenges.
Unless there's a puzzle.
Unless there's a puzzle. But then that leaves room for like Marianne, Omar, or what's her face to get voted off.
Lindsay, yeah.
Lindsay. To just knock down Jonathan's strength when it comes to the tribe. And that's what we kind of see later on in the scene after with Omar and Marianne, when they're talking like, oh my God, Jonathan's so stupid. I think Jonathan is just very pro team. And I think he doesn't understand the ramifications of what that will entail come later down the line.
Abraham, I mean, Jonathan himself even said when they were talking to him, man, I wish I didn't say that to Jeff. Like, it just came out.
Here's the thing. Jonathan is going to have a target on his back regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So he can go both ways. He can be an ally to you, because if you go back and look at that last challenge, he drug his whole team to include Marianne on the side of the boat to win that challenge. So you're going to want to keep him with you. But again, he knows what his strength and weakness are at. But you just don't want to try to, I think they thought he tipped his hand to say, well, if we go to a merge right now, we know us 4 are going to stick together, which never happens. Well, it did happen one time. One time they went into the merge, and that group with Coach went to the very end. Most time when you get to the merge, it splinters and they go different ways. But right now, Jonathan is a dominant physical task. So any type of challenge that's physical, Jonathan at least got the heads up for that. But you're right, can't do no puzzle. So, man, as long as there's no puzzle at the end,
Naseer, people are always really wanting to get like the challenge threats out. I mean, I instantly think of Ozzy's and Joe's and even Malcolm's, and let's just get them out immediately because they're going to win every single challenge and make it to the end. Is there not a path that you could possibly like work with that person, get like a little alliance going, have them in it, have them be like the shield? And I mean, because I'm not saying this goes for the Joes and the Aussies, but Jonathan isn't, I think, the most strategic person and where he's going to make big moves and stuff. He's just a really big challenge threat. So is there not a way that, someone like Marianne could work with Jonathan moving forward and not worry about the challenges?
Yeah, but the reason Jonathan say, if you really look into it, I don't know, based on my understanding, yeah, because since last challenge and or like last two episodes, he's literally carrying the tribe in terms of challenges, right? So it's a everybody knows that there's a huge target on his back already. The other tribes, they know about it, and his tribes know about it, but he's trying to secure himself somehow instead of, he's a very humble person, right? Like he's saying like, it's not only me, we have the teamwork here. That's what he's trying to get out of it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Abraham, here, right? That's what he's trying to, so he knows that he's a physical challenge and threat over there, but yes, it is what Marianne was thinking. She's totally right on the other hand, because hey, don't tell that it's going to ruin my game as well. You know what I mean? So it's for everybody's game. But yes, you can. So I was playing like, even though I can win challenges, but at the same time, I was kind of hiding behind Danny because he's bigger than me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Until you use that shield.
Yeah, he's that shield. Right? If on my confessionals, I always say, I will take out Deshaun. He's very strategic. Danny is just a big wall right there. I can be behind him. Just when the time comes, I will move on. All right. And also because other tribes, they see before they get to merge or right after merge, they will have the same mentality or mindset like, okay, whoever really good in challenge, they want to kick them out, right? But at the same time, they need someone to be with them. Even like, for an example, like let's say we are all alliances here and I'm not really good at challenges. Abraham is great at challenges. We need Abraham because, if he win challenges, then he will take his people with him to move forward, So then when we get to final 5 or 4, then Abraham will be going home because
exactly.
Until then you have to be calm and like cucumber, stay, do everything, just be humble, move on. Then when time comes, just cut it. That's it.
Hey, Naseer's right. I would have voted Naseer out of 6 too. And Naseer is right. Definitely. Because when we initially started, it's only 3 tribes, so you only got 6 members, and they were like, "What's your strategy? If we don't win, we got to vote."
Yep.
So we need to execute we need the best people to be able to compete in challenges. Because if you look at it, Xander would have went home next if the Green tribe didn't win that next challenge. And I think that was the one that JD was trying to do the finger roll to sandbags.
Money.
Yeah, money. Had they won that particular challenge, Xander didn't have his vote. So he was an easy target, and then all the women would have been left. So they would have voted him out. But they won that challenge, and Green kind of decimated itself after that. But here's the thing about it is, when it's only 3 tribes and 6 members, it's all about winning to me.
Yeah.
Because if you don't win, you got to vote. Yeah, nowhere to hide.
Nowhere to hide. The pace is fast. So you don't have 39 days, only 26 days. So everybody is thinking like, as long as I get to 20 days, then it's good to go. Like there are a couple more tribal council and good to go. You know what I mean?
Well, I think you made a great point. And this is exactly what I was thinking while watching the episode. I'm like, okay. If you guys lose and make the decision to send Jonathan home before the merge, I think that's the stupidest thing you could do. Because Jonathan is that person, let's worry about him later. If you do want to worry about him, he's the strongest person on the tribe, whether you want to admit it or not. And he can get you to the merge. So I don't see any reason right now for anybody on that tribe to be like, okay, Jonathan, he's got a loud mouth. And I think Omar kind of said it best. Omar was like, okay, I just found out my main alliance guy has a bit of a mouth here that he, I can't remember the exact phrase he says, but it never felt to me that Omar's like, okay, I need to vote him out now. He was just like, all right, we'll have to deal with that. But
But it's Survivor. You vote people out for less.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
And again, that's a good point, though. That's a good point, Randy, over there. Like, yeah, you don't have to take him out now. Even after that, it's no matter what, Jonathan, let's say, winning every single challenge, you will have fear. If I lose next challenge, I'm going home. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So then that way that's what I would do. I'm like, yeah, I can win challenges, but if I lose, I'll be scared, right? I'll be going home because they know that I can win challenges if they keep me there. So he will have the same fear. In that way, he will have his alliances to bring with them. So next time, if someone else win, Jonathan can stay. The trust it has to be there.
It'll be
Um,
interesting to see how far he can make it in this game. I think Jonathan's game and how far he can go really depends on the person that I stated, Omar, because Omar seems to be his main alliance member. If Omar decides, okay, I need to get Jonathan out, then I think Jonathan could be in trouble because I think the girls are already now. I'm just at this point, we haven't seen this. They haven't come out and said they want to take Jonathan out. But just the feeling that I get is the girls are like Lindsay and Marianne. Okay, we need to watch Jonathan. But as long as Omar has it, okay. What do you think?
I disagree because here's the thing about it is, look at Lindsay. Lindsay is always with Jonathan.
Yep.
Anytime you've seen
that's
the
fair.
edit,
I remember. Yeah.
And
they're always together. Now, here's where sometimes the age difference comes in at. They're more so going to go with Jonathan. They're going to go with Marianne. So look and see how the dynamics. Omar is really on the outs. He really doesn't have anybody he could go with except for Marianne, but she could be swayed. But she has does she have an extra vote? What does she have?
Yeah,
yes.
She has an extra vote, but
Beware.
Oh,
yeah,
the
she
beware
can
advantage.
vote though. She has an extra vote, but she can vote.
She can't use any of that stuff yet. So she's more dangerous than any of them right now. So if I was going to vote somebody out, voting her out with a Jonathan on your tribe is not a big loss because Jonathan is going to get you to the puzzle.
Yeah.
Whatever that challenge is, he's going to get you to that puzzle.
Yeah.
And Marianne, she got drugged last time, so look at that. Go back and look at the video. She was on the side of the boat. I thought she was drowning. She was getting drugged.
I know you're looking like we're looking ahead of things when I say that, but basically, if this tribe goes back to tribal and you've got 4 people, you've got Jonathan, you got Marianne, you have Lindsay, and you have Omar, and I think they all agree, they did, even though they're like, Jonathan, you shouldn't have said that. They all agree they are a very cohesive unit. They all feel tight with each other. You go back to tribal, someone's got to go. And right now, I couldn't make a prediction on who would go off that tribe.
It'll be Omar or Marianne. Who would you guys?
It'll be Marianne.
You think Marianne?
Yeah.
Marianne, definitely.
One, because if she gets more power, she may know how to use it.
Exactly.
We don't know yet. Now, Marianne and me, Naseer, back me up. She is enjoying her survival experience.
Yes, sir.
She's having a great time.
She hands down. She knows what she's doing, my friend. Trust me.
Yep.
Like, hey, she's enjoying it. You don't see that she's starving or anything, but this is just the beginning.
Well, I'm scared anytime Marianne picks up a machete. I'll say that every time she's like swinging that down. I'm like, oh, I would not be anywhere near that because she takes aggressive swings with that thing.
Unless they sharpen those machetes, you're going to have to you basically going to have to put your hand on a rock and just have somebody else hit it. I don't know about your machete, Naseer, but ours was
I sharpened it that like the way I want. I did it Sri Lankan style. That is how I grew up.
So you already knew going out there.
I know those stuff. Like I'm totally fine with those machete and then slingshot and bow and arrow and shooting and all kind of stuff. I'm fine with those. So
that's why I was trying to get on the tribe. See, I could have just sat back. I could have played the old guy.
Let Naseer do his thing.
Back and let them do the work, made it to the merge, and then voted them out at 6.
No matter what, even though we played the game, watched the game, learned English, watching the Survivor episode or seasons, and a lot of things Survivor really brought out of a lot of good things for me, right, in my life. But when I learned something, all that you need just one good ally with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't have to have 3-4 people. As long as you have one that's solid, that you can trust, good to go. For an example,
I think
me and Abraham together. Good to go.
I think that's where Survivor is kind of having that feel. We've seen like Survivor over the years transition into like these new eras and really grow as a game. You look back in the old days and you see just, an alliance of 7-8 people and just take out the entire alliance, and you stick with them till the end. And then we saw the voting blocks for a while where it's always shifting. And now the past couple of seasons, and I mean, even Australia Blood versus Water to an extent, it's all about these pairs. You find someone and you hook up with them, and then you'll have your other alliances. It kind of stays voting blocks outside of that. But like you said, Naseer, you get one person who has your back, and that trust is really important.
Let me ask Naseer a question. Naseer, how long did it take you to find your Beware advantage?
It took me, oh my goodness. Believe me or not, it took days. And this is how I start again. Anybody can, future players, you can do this. So I did not go one area to the other. I come from either east or west. I came this way. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I didn't go like I go middle, then go right. No, so that somehow I had to end up getting, because I know no one else is going to get it, because everybody just sit on the bamboo. Right? and the worst case scenario, someone on the way walking, Danny will try to find it with a piece of stick. I will tell Danny, bro, don't go there. I found a snake. And he'll be like, don't worry, I will not go there. He'll try to pull his friend. Yeah. I scare this crap out of him. Like I always tell him, hey, Danny, don't put the hand over there. It's a huge spider. Oh, yeah? No. He will not put. So I'll go see.
What a baller.
I hope Danny listens to this. I hope Danny listens to this now, and just to hear Naseer call him out.
He knows it. We chat and he's like, you crazy what you did. You made me like looks like cool over there.
Well, I'm gonna have to pause you on just for a second. We're gonna have to take a quick break. When we come back, I'll fill you in on a little bit of what's happening on the Ika tribe, and then we'll talk about the challenge, but then we'll really get to the juicy stuff and that tribal council and everything that happened, as well as some questions that we'll answer later on for you guys. So we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We are still here. Abraham, Will, myself, hanging with season 41 castaway Naseer. And let's go ahead and just move on to the next part of this episode. And that's, I don't want to spend too much time on this section, but we do have to talk about it. And that's what's going on over on the Ika tribe. There's a lot of personalities here that are kind of clashing. And I mean, specifically, I'm talking about Roxroy and Tori, and I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about Tori. I'm going to let, all my guests here speak first, but I do have to talk about a certain person that Roxroy is being connected to, maybe like a new version of this player, which I don't agree with. But anyway, so Roxroy is getting on everybody's nerve. We get this funny moment where Romeo is like, okay, cue the Roxroy montage, and it is hilarious. And you just see him bossing people around. Naseer, we are on season 42 of Survivor. All right. And it still blows my mind that people go out there and they boss people around, seeing that it puts a target on your back immediately. I know they don't want to, that's not their goal, and sometimes it's just their personality. But what's your opinion on Roxroy here? Because he is good television, but at the same time, oh man, he's really put a target on his back.
Let me say this. We say, whoever played Survivor, I would say it's until season 42, maybe already season 43 start filming, right? Everybody said that I have strong morals back in home, but in Survivor, I do anything to get to the $1 million, right? Including I said that. But whatever personality that you see on television, on Survivor, that is who they are.
Okay.
First day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's okay. Then the deprivations, the starvation start hitting you immediately. Then your true colors come out. Does that make sense? But yes. Roxroy, he's an interesting player.
Well, the thing that gets me too about Roxroy, and we get this moment with Tori where they're like, they want to team up. It is Drea who is talking to Tori, and she's like, look, we can make this move, but we got to get Roxroy with us. And Tori is like, no, absolutely not. Like, I'm not going to work. And I'm just sitting there, Naseer, and I'm like, I mean, keep your friends close, your enemies closer. Like, just if this is going to get you farther in the game, you got to pull Roxroy in.
And also, the reason I say the personality wise, see, personality, that's why they cast 18 different personalities, right? So, but you can make moves, you can manipulate people, you can backstab people. That is part of your strategy. You can lie. Yeah, that is the way you move or try to stay one night, right? Every other night. But in terms of talking of personality, even after already 42 season airs, it's still you don't learn how to talk to people.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Abraham, correct me if I'm wrong, brother. Here, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
You-
Abe, take the floor on this.
So, like I said before,
Go ahead.
who you really are will eventually present itself in Survivor.
Yep.
Mhm.
You can only hide your true personality for so long.
Yeah.
And as you start to get into those days, and they already said Marianne was annoying because she was so happy. Think how you feel on day 12 with her, and she's just that excited. You're like, look, I'm tired. I haven't gotten a good night's sleep, and you're just become irritated. Who you really are, and Roxroy just kind of sped it up. He's already there. I mean,
He's way in advance. And also, see, if you really look at it, like Roxroy, he doesn't have to do anything. Nobody's really throwing his name under the bus at all yet. So far, I don't know. He's just trying to dig a hole like Daniel's doing.
Well, this whole tribe. I
So-
don't know if there's one person. I mean, Drea's found a ton of advantages and stuff, but just from the Ika tribe, I don't know if there's one person really playing a stellar game. Because what is the most important thing in the game of Survivor? Safety. If someone walks up to you and say, "I have a plan to keep you in the game. Sign me up. Deal. Whatever. How high?" It's kind of that situation. I say jump, say how high. But the thing is, they went to Rox and they're like, okay, Rox. Tori went to Rox and said, look, I know we can work together, right? We can make this plan. And Rox's like, okay. And then Rox just says, I have no interest in working with Tori. Absolutely not. It's like not even trying.
May I say something here?
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
To Jonathan Penner, when he played his second season, he was being in the middle trying to play. Then if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember who exactly when I approached him and he said like, hey, let's play. He's like, still I haven't decided which side to. Then it's exactly
I remember that one.
you remember that, right?
I remember that one.
Like I was thinking about seriously. Then right after that, Jonathan left. He doesn't have anybody to even. Everybody like, okay, we don't need you. You remember that? He was,
Yeah, and they voted him out because they could decide on what side he wanted to stand.
Exactly, and they tried it. He's like, okay, I will do whatever I want, and like I'm not decided. Roxroy did the same time. He can play better than that. I am sure.
Yeah,
like right.
He's gonna look back and not be happy with this.
Unless he never seen a episode of Survivor or season of Survivor. If you watch one season, you should know that.
Hey, look, you could have watched our season. No, they was there with us, so they couldn't have watched our season. But,
Well, I will ask Will, before we get to tribal, so take out who ended up going home out of the equation and everything. We're talking about at this moment, who is really running the Ika tribe? I know you can say no one's running it, no one's in charge, but there's always someone who's in the best position. Is it Romeo? Because if it is, I got to say, I'm sorry, Romeo, because I was telling Abe, he could be the first one out. I just didn't get a vibe that he could, but he's playing a good game. So I have to ask you, Will, who's in the best position kind of?
So go to right? Oh, sorry, Will, you're out.
Your goodness here. I think going into the challenge, I thought it was going to be one of two people. I thought either Swati would be the one running the things, had her plan on Drea worked out, had Tori and Rox actually made up. If not Swati, then Drea, because then Swati's plan would foil, leaving kind of a system where Swati or Tori would go, and then the other person, and then Rox third, leaving Drea in a really good position. I never really got a strong. I think Romeo is playing a good game where no one's targeting him, and I think he's playing the best game. But when it comes to just control and power, I think it was either going into the challenge, it was either Drea or Swati, which and I was actually
self-destructed.
Well, and we're gonna get to that. Naseer, I do have to say too, I was also wrong. I mean, we can all say we're experts, and then Survivor just flips the entire game upside down. You never know. But I was like, I hate to make this connection, but at the beginning of the season, Chanel and Daniel, is that the new Ricard and Shan? Yeah.
No.
I'm like, is that like an unlikely duo? Obviously, I was way wrong about that. But we're seeing Romeo work well with Drea, and I would never have pictured that alliance in a million years.
Romeo knows how to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he got good communication skills.
And Roxroy does not. And we're
No.
well,
Swati just try to play everybody, and everybody talked to each other and was like, "Whoa, hey, you trying to play everybody?" Roxroy annoyance is going to eventually get him. I mean, it's relationships, and you have such a short amount of time to build those relationships, you know. And here's the thing about it is, we only see 35, 45 minutes. We're getting filmed 24/7. So Roxroy was only annoying to you for 35 minutes. He was probably annoying for the tribe for 48 hours. So.
Yeah, I hear that. Well, let's move on to the challenge then. I liked this challenge. It was a good challenge. You know, I'm saying this, US challenges can kind of wear you down and they can get kind of repetitive and stuff. And I thought this was really good. I'll tell you someone who didn't like the challenge. Lydia did not like the challenge. she could not reach that key to save her life. But Chanel stepped up here. Abraham, I know I watched your video on Instagram. I watch them every week. I wanted to go to you for this because I'm happy you also noticed this. Jonathan is like a beast carrying that boat, and Marianne's like off to the side, just like paddling like a dog or what, like a doggy paddle. And Jonathan's like, no, I got this boat and stuff like this, and just left her in the dust. Another great showing.
Hey, look, first of all, kudos to Jonathan. He's a beast. But here's the thing. It's hard swimming in the ocean. And Jonathan
harder
is
than it looks,
Oh, it's harder than it looks. And he is taking his whole team on one boat. But here's where they messed up at. You get to strategize before you start the challenge. You looked up there and really thought Lydia could jump and actually reach that.
I was thinking about that. Those jumps, you know, a lot of people watch it and they're like, how can she not reach that? Those jumps have to be higher up than what it looks like on our screens.
It's higher and you have to jump higher. So it looks like it's easy, but when you're there actually trying to jump, here's the thing about it is, if you can't jump anyway, it didn't look good. So now you're losing valuable time.
Naseer, did you like the puzzle at the end of this? Would you say you're a puzzle fan? Or we've talked about this in the past too. Are you more of like physical challenges, or do you like the addition of a puzzle, the great equalizer, as they say?
Well, can I say something? I did not show that because I don't want to be see, I'm not great at puzzle, but I can do puzzle.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as Abraham said, that you should be strategized in terms of who does what and so on and so forth. For an example, we always kept Dishan and Erica to do the puzzles. So they felt comfortable on that. Like Sydney said, she can swim. My first profession is lifeguard. I can swim too.
Yeah.
Right. So, but when Sydney came and said that is the only thing she's really good at it. All right. That's perfect. We need that. Right. So people being honest with us immediately. But here, maybe, I don't know. See, as Abraham said, yeah, it is really high, but you have to jump higher, right? But when you're hungry, no food, it's hard to jump.
That's the thing. We keep forgetting that.
We're forgetting that. Yeah,
they did have 10 fish. They did have 10
They did not have 10 fish, all right? They did not have that. Plus, but again, it's hard to say. I'm like, Lydia, I'm sure she's a great player. I really love the way, you know.
Her Twitter's gold.
She thought, like, that is the other thing. Like, no matter how tall you are or how short, what you can do when you are into game mode, you don't look at how high is that. It's all about always, I can do it.
Yeah, you don't want to say you can't, because I think that could paint a target like that makes you seem weak if you're like, I just can't.
Maybe we never know. We see what they air, right? Maybe Lydia was saying, guys, maybe I can't jump that high. Maybe there is no other option for her.
That's what I think. I think there's just no, like Mike and Hai really were best swimmers.
Yeah.
Just leaving Chanel and Lydia to just.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Lucky.
And again, Daniel, he did not swim or anything. He said,
oh, maybe it's just because of his show. I don't know. He should have jumped.
But here's the thing is, when you jump off there and hit that water a couple of times, she was tired.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was well, it was a great comeback though. Like this was an awesome challenge to watch because it was back and forth. I remember good television is when you're yelling at your screens and they can't hear you, and it's a pre-recorded thing, so they definitely can't hear you. I'm screaming at the television when Chanel's like, give me the piece, and she's trying to get it in. And I'm like, are they about to lose because she can't get the last piece in the puzzle? It was a great comeback by Vatu because they were, dead in the water, pun intended.
I will say, sorry to cut you off, Abe, but I think this is the most important moment of the entire episode. And I have this in big, bold letters in my notes. When Vati started doing the puzzle, the camera panned to Hai and Mike. I don't know if y'all caught this, but Mike and Hai basically hug each other and they say, I love you. I'm sure they say it after every portion, but the fact that the editors deliberately showed that moment and not focused on any other tribe, I think that's a very subtle clue. And this is like a crack pipe theory. I think that's a clue that they will work together come a merge situation, and that Mike, Lydia, and Hai are becoming a very strong trio with Chanel
foreshadowing.
Basically. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it only takes little things to bond you.
Yep.
So, and in that moment, they both gave they all so they could even be in that challenge.
Mm-hmm.
See, what they don't show you is how gassed out you are when you get to the end of your part of it.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, so just to kind of give you guys the rundown, the Taku tribe wins. They come first place again. I mean, they are becoming challenge beasts. Vatu came from behind. So it is Ika going to tribal council. So, gentlemen, we can get into the talking, the tribal, all the drama, because let me just put this out there. So I run the Instagram and Twitter pages for us. And on Twitter, I said, I always do this. I live tweet this so people can vote on it. Who is going home? And I did this before any of the talking happened. And you can only put 4 options for people to choose, right? Multiple choice. I put everybody's name on the tribe down except for Swati, because I thought she was so safe. I'm like, Swati is the one person that there's no chance she goes home tonight. And
she was until she torpedoed herself.
It was just, that's the thing too. I loved how they edited that.
Oh yeah.
That was, I usually don't shout out the editing team, but that was stellar because every time it popped up that she told someone else, you're my number one, it was more painful. It was like a knife, like a dagger going in. It's like, oh. So let's start with our guest, Naseer here. Naseer, break down what you saw when they went back to camp and talking and everything, because the initial plan, from what I remember, was it Tori or Rox? Who was the initial plan?
It was Tori.
Tori was initial. She was always going.
And Tori, you can, comment on that too, if you would like, because she's playing a stellar game from what appears to be the bottom since day one. And she's a great talker. So Naseer, I'll go to you. What'd you think about how the talks broke down here?
Well,
I know I put you on the spot.
No. So this is what I want to say, right? If you guys, I hope I can say if you guys.
Yeah. No, you're all good.
So
we got rid of that right now.
No, I had to be careful because
you're all good.
So I'm still learning. So
you are all good
with me. All right. So what I'm trying to say is, for some reason, I'm sure you all know this. CBS leaked that Tori found the advantage. Remember, she's reading out, this is sweet potato, mashed potato, or something like that. For the other reason, she's not going home on that night.
I did forget about that until I saw someone tweet on it on Twitter, like before we even saw who was going home.
Before even the season starts.
Yep.
All right. Yep. So it's obvious, and I know well, but they did a pretty good edit in terms of your number one, my number one. I was expecting, I had a really high expectation on Swati because she was in Marine and she did a lot of stuff and all kind of stuff. And she's young, but she's really carrying herself out and try to play hard. And which is, she did a good role modeling stuff for all the girls out there. But what I'm trying to say is, we know that she's going to go home based on what they did, CBS did, right?
Yeah, based on the preview.
Because that is Tori that reading the
potato, whatever it is, like the beware advantage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So otherwise, let's say maybe then Tori should have been gone home. And go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I forgot. I told myself not to forget this, right? Sometimes it's harder with the notes because they're on my phone now because I can't really write or anything because I'm right-handed. So I have to do the notes on the phone. But I missed this. Let's real quick go back to the challenge because Marianne said her phrase. And Mike has said he's not going to say it unless the second phrase is said. Gentlemen, if you're Marianne, do you continue to say it or do you just stop now? Because you've already said it twice and you have people looking confused. I'll go to Naseer first, because he was someone who found the beware advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I would say,
the phrase.
and I did not share with anyone either.
True.
Naseer, did you say the phrase before the merger, or you just went into the merger without saying?
No, before, because I don't have a vote since I went around. Yeah, so
he was the last person to say it, right?
Yeah, out of nowhere. I might add.
Right, that is a way to play a game.
Exactly.
Right. So I would say I know Marianne keep repeating like multiple times, but it is a little too much, to be honest with you all. But you should say at least once. It's all about your security over there. If she said, Mike, I have no clue why. First thing first, I love Mike, but he's shared with everybody. And they all know Marianne doesn't have a vote, and Mike knows that now, and right because
sorry to interrupt. Mike only shared with Daniel. And Jenny,
and
then
Dan shared with everybody.
Well, no, it was Chanel. Once they got back to tribal, she was like, "Well, I voted this." I mean, Mike didn't have a vote because he is an idol, and Mike was like, "All right, so we're sharing this now."
So, that is why I want to say, no matter what, if you all ever end up playing again, or one time or whatever, any Survivor players that want to play out, in the future, do not share. Why do you want to share? It's an community idol.
That's Survivor 101. Like, I don't understand. Like, people are getting way too nice. Like, I think it's just burning holes in pockets. Like, they have to tell people.
So, Randy, because they want to build alliances, right? So they want to have one trust ally with you, someone that they can trust. But trust me, we all are into the same goal to get that $1 million, right? Or sit on the final tree.
Only one winner.
Only one winner, all right? So, for example, you're telling me, that I have some connection with someone else. I'm going to tell to build my relationship stronger with that person. You know what I mean?
That's fair. That's fair.
Right? I mean, I will take in anything comes to me, but I will never share. But
I still don't think. I think I wouldn't be able to share. I still think it'd be a situation where, like, I'll tell you later, but this thing's I'm keeping this to myself. But let's get back to talking. So, go ahead, Abram.
If I was Marianne, I wouldn't say it again because everybody, the next person on the next tribe that knows that everybody has to say it needs to be the first person to say it. And then everybody can say it.
Someone said, I think it was someone in my family who said it. I think that's where I heard it. But they said, what if the third person has already found it, which I assume they haven't because we saw the scene that CBS, put in the trailer of her reading the potato line or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But what if she decides, I'm just going to wait for the other two to say it, but Mike is also waiting for the other two to say it.
Yep.
I mean, we could be at a real standoff here. Someone's got to say it. And then Marianne just decides I'm not saying it anymore.
That's Survivor.
Yep. I think I said that in the last thing. I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if the third person found it, but never said anything waiting for Mike? I agree with Abe though, because I feel like whoever finds the next Tori, when she finds it, she's going to know what the phrases are. Because she knows what to listen out for, and so she'll see the bunny rabbit, and so I think she will be willing to say it at the tribal or at the next challenge to get Marianne to say it again, and then once Marianne says it, then Mike's gonna be like, the game of soccer makes me cry.
Naseer, I have to. This is kind of off topic a little bit. Are you a soccer fan or a football fan?
Yeah, I do. Yes,
because I love the sport, and when Mike said, I hate soccer, I tell my players that it's not even a sport. I was like, okay, Mike's never played soccer. That's what that's.
Say something. Mike never. Okay, see, I am originally from Sri Lanka, right?
Yes.
But I'm an American now, right? I don't have a Sri Lankan passport, so I'm an American. Like, we think, football is the best game in the world. No, it's only in America and part of Canada only. That's it. The entire world they play soccer.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Right?
So I was like, he
Naseer brings a whole new perspective.
I was like, he's just definitely wrong. It definitely hurt. But Will, I got to get your opinion on the talks before we get to the tribal and how they broke down. I guess your and Abraham's thoughts, because I kind of cut back there. I just had to point that out because I forgot to mention that Marianne did say the phrase again. So let me go to you first real quick, Will. Tell us your opinion on how these talks broke down, because it looked like it was going to be Tori, and then Tori's like, nope, I'm ready to throw her under the bus.
So right when the challenge ended, I was talking to my mom about the show. I'm like, I'm telling you right now, Tori is gone unless something wild happens, and then Rox is going. And then the second we get the scene where Romeo and Drea were trading notes and we're getting all those flashback scenes, I just sat back like wow, Swati is going. Because it's right. Because I don't think I've ever seen Survivor really dunk on someone that much with just those flashbacks back to back to back. And then even Tori joins the conversation. She's like, oh yeah, Swati just told me that she was my number one. What's going on? And I'm like, wow. Because I think Swati, just like Daniel before, had a great idea. It was just putting it from paper into action that really ruined it. Because I think Swati just played too hard and had this idea like, I want to make a one-on-one with everyone. That'll be a great idea. And it just reminds me of like something like an org player would do on those online Survivors. It seems like a Randy move.
It is a Randy move. And that's why on the online games, that's why I've been voted out, is because I just play too hard. I'm like, why is everyone just like talking and making these relationships? I'm ready to vote people out here. Like, let's get talking about the game. Learn my lesson. But Abe, this was definitely like a super fan playing too fast type of situation.
She just overplayed her hand.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. I mean, if she'd have went to just one person, and here's the thing about it is she wasn't a target.
Yep.
That's how quick Survivor can change on you. She was not the target. All she had to do is sit back and just kind of let the game come to her. She could have went to one or two players and said, okay, here's what I'm thinking about. But if you know one of the players is a target and it's not you, you want to pour onto the other player. You don't even want to talk to the other player. You're like, no, I'm going to stay away from that player and just talk to the other players. And she went from not being a target to being the primary target. Because everybody voted for her.
And when you're sitting on tribal council, never nod your head. Jeff loved that to ask questions.
If you nod your head, it's he's going straight to you. Well, as you guys can see, I am live in Fiji right now at Tribal Council reporting. So I was here seeing the whole thing break down. So basically, we start off Tribal Council with a very weird question. The Dre, not a weird question, but a weird response. He said, "What's the vibe?" And we get this very long pause where Dre is like, "I don't know how to describe it." It was very. I'm like, man, this got really deep. And basically it's a she said situation kind of between Tori and Swati. They're going back and forth. So, but I want to get to the main part here. I think we all agreed that at this point we thought Swati was going to be the one going home. But we are now 0 for 4 on shot in the dark die advantages. I tweeted, I said, can we get rid of this now? We're 0 and 4. And it's like, they got to change it. They have to change it. It is the most anticlimactic thing. Because at first, when she said, oh, Jeff, I went, are we about to get a flashback where she found like an idol or something? Like
that's what I was thinking.
That's what I'm like.
You can play like a Tony had, right? Like in Cagayan, like you can play after the votes are read. Maybe I was thinking
I was like, is she about to play an idol? But no, it's, hey Jeff, I got the shot in the dark die. And then we pan the Jeff where he goes, all right, not safe, moving on. And I'm just like, we gotta figure something out.
Let me tell you. So season 42 has overshadowed us with a shot in the dark.
Because
you guys just chose not to play it. That's the thing.
Only Sydney plays. You know,
1 out of 18 people play shot in the dark.
Now they're playing for us. They continue. They collected all the season 42 playing on behalf of season 41, I guess.
I mean, Abe, we've talked about it before. You said the shot in the dark never popped up, like you were never going to play it. Naseer, did you ever think, you got blindsided, obviously, but did you ever think about the shot in the dark die, or was it just in the
I
background.
just I found out I had one when I went out, even voted off. Like,
Oh yeah, I had that thing really.
Because we were the first season to be introduced it, so they had to explain it to us. And then you got to try to say, okay, I need to incorporate this into my game, but you're not really thinking about this.
Well, they
You're thinking about everything else.
Too.
Look, I don't know about Naseer, but when you get to tribal, you're tired. It's a long day. It's a long day before you get
the worst place on the earth is tribal council.
I believe that. Especially when I first found out how long it actually is, I went, "Oh my gosh, that has to be terrible."
Forget about long waitings. When you sit that right in front of Jeff, you have no clue what the heck is going to come out of each and every players that you're playing. Plus, Jeff knows exactly what he's asking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You a clue. He's smart. Trust me. He has enough experience how to read your eyes and get the questions and answers.
Yeah. If he asks me a question, I'm just gonna be like, no comment, Jeff. Next question. I know that's going to be what hurts me in my game is I'm just going to say something that I'm like, oh wait, can we take that back? Which there is no taking back at Tribal Council.
Had I known I was going to be first, I'd have said a couple more things. So I should have said, if y'all vote me out tonight, guess what? You're going to be next because y'all going to lose the next challenge. But mark my words.
Swati did end up going home. Was it a clean sweep? Or did Rox
voted Tory? Which is just hilarious in my opinion.
He just went. I mean, why do you think it's hilarious? Well, you got to tell us now.
Because just the start of the episode, Swati was like, Tory, for this plan to work, we have to get Rox. And then we have Tory like, I hate Rox Roy. Rox is like, I hate Tory. And then like the vote was completely different. But Rox is like, no, I'm still just gonna vote Tory. Why not? It's like, what?
Yeah. Because if she the one that shot in the dark, that would have sent Tory home.
That would have. I still think it was just kind of funny though. The fact that the only person not vote Swati was Rox for Tory. I don't know, just because of like their whole like rivalry earlier on.
You know what could have happened if Swati, instead of throwing her under the bus back and forth, she tried her best, right? She has to do anything, to stay one more night. She tried really hard and tried to stay one more night. Maybe she should have realized, and okay, this is too much. I should have stopped and talk about some positive stuff about the people that's sitting next to you. Then try to control their voting system instead of targeting Tory. Then it goes automatically. Again, you know what? It's hard to say. It's easy for us to watch the TV, the editing, and to talk about. Laying on the couch having a beer or whatever, coffee or whatever. But we know, right, Abraham, how hard to sit on tribal council.
He calls it all the time. He always says couch survivor.
Couch survivor. Yep.
Yeah, because you're there all day before you go to tribal. You're there all day, and you're trying to go through these processes. So she had all day to get herself on the voting block. That's what she did, and they just edited perfectly to show what she did to do it. Because she was not even a target. I mean, that's just called overplay. Sometimes you just got to sit back and let stuff come to you. And Naseer is right. Say a couple of things in tribal, but let it be done. Let it be done.
Yeah, let people, when the people talk, just see them. So
don't say anything. Don't shake your head.
Don't say anything. Shut mouth. That's the only place I'm quiet and like I'm not even trying to show on the tribal council. I'm the happiest. No, I'm just sit like statue and look at Jeff.
Don't show any emotion. Will you have something to add on?
Yeah, I know we're talking about how he should be quiet, but I feel like Jenny did just that. I think during the whole last tribal council, she tried being quiet, letting Daniel do all the blowing up.
That was a mistake.
You just have to strike that balance. I think Swati was just too hyper focused on Tory. I think just like Naseer said, talk good about everyone else. Be like, Rox, I don't hate you as much as Tory. You're a cool guy. Romeo, you're helpful around camp. But instead, she just said, guys, we have to vote Tory. She's lying. She lied about me. But I feel like no matter what she said at tribal, it was Drea and Romeo trading notes with each other that killed Swati in the game. I think once we saw that, I thought there was just no chance unless she played that shot in the dark.
Or Jenny apologize and say that won, right?
She could apologize
and say this is what I did. From moving on, and I'm young. I'm still learning. You guys are expert here. I want to join. You teach me. I'll be for you. All right. Try to create an alliance live.
An apology has a lot of power in the game. I think more power than a lot of people think.
Apologize. People can't apologize. And why? Apologize.
Yeah, keep me in the game and we'll make this work. Well, Swati, it was fun viewing her. I think, or viewing, you get what I'm saying. That came out. It was fun watching her play the game. I think we would all love to have her back and for a second chance. So Naseer, you're allowed. We're running low on time here again. You're allowed to say no. I still have some questions for you. You cool sticking around to answer these?
Yeah, if I can, I will answer. If not, I will not.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're going to take one more break, come right back, answer these questions for you guys, and then really wrap up. So we'll be right back, guys. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you, Naseer, for hanging out with us today so far and like talking the episode and everything. We've got a few questions for you as well as Will and Abraham. Sorry, everything got thrown off. We're all in different locations. No, maybe just Abe and Naseer on my computer. So I got thrown off here for a second. All right. So thank you guys so much for sending these questions in. We'd love to hear from you guys. So you can always send us questions on our Twitter at Survivor Now Pod or on Instagram at Survivor Now Podcast. Or if you want to do it, just email us survivornowpodcast@gmail.com and you can get those questions in. So let's start off with Lydia's lover, who says, who do you think is in the best position to win at the moment? I will go to Will first. At the current moment, we all picked our winners. And Naseer, I'm going to give you a second to think because I also want to hear your winner pick in general. But Will, who's in the best spot right now?
Look, I said Mike Turner at the start of the season. I'm going to stick with Mike Turner because I think he has the best ability that you can have in Survivor, and that's the ability to adapt. And he said this in tonight's episode. He said, I have to adapt, I have to change. I'm not a dinosaur. And I think that one skill will carry him far because we saw that he was able to just make amends with High, even though they were on different sides of the vote. We saw that he can be a little hot-headed, in my opinion, but I feel like he's able to keep his tempers down enough to make the best strategic move, despite, losing an idol and mistrusting the wrong people. But I think Mike just does have a really good shot at making it far.
Abe, you're up next, man.
I'm gonna go with Jonathan and his ability to team up with anybody. Because if you go back to the last challenge where they were doing the step through the rope, it was Jonathan leading his team through the ropes. That's how they got through so fast. He's just a person that organized the people. So, and I like that tendency to be able to organize them. And I think he's a bigger threat so somebody can hide behind him. So they can be like, you know what? Everybody wants to get Jonathan out. I can kind of hide behind him.
That'll hurt him, though. I remember us talking about that. That'll hurt him. Definitely how good he is at challenges and stuff.
I like him now as a team player. So I think he's definitely going to make it to the merge. And I think he can team up with one or two people and they'll shield him at least until the last, I'll say to the final four.
Naseer, no pressure. It could be, it's probably going to be the same person.
Well, let me put it this way. All right. So playing experienced Survivor player, I would say, and I was on that island for 17 days. I haven't picked anybody yet.
Okay. No one's
That's a good answer.
No one's popped out.
Yep.
The reason I like Erica, she never talked to something in terms of strategic wise or to build an alliance for almost 11, 12 days. What's the reason Danny and Dishan tried to throw the challenge to get her out, take her out? Why?
Yeah.
Right? So at the right time, right move, she did her, she played the game. But imagine how many people thinking Erica could win that. So that's why it is very unpredictable game. So I haven't in their house. They're in my house. Of course, we are crazy Survivor fans, right?
Yeah.
Even daughter picked someone already. All right, but me, nah.
So you've got nobody yet. Smart. That's why he's the smartest here currently because he didn't say anyone.
Don't put me in that situation. No.
He was gonna vote me out number 6. So
there are legends. There are legends sitting right there.
Yeah.
Not all above.
No, I got you.
Abraham is there.
I have to stick with my winner pick right now. Much like you did, Will. I have to stick. Wait, who was your winner pick, Abraham?
I I had Lindsay as my winner pick or Drea.
Yeah,
More picks all around.
Yeah, they're all good.
I got to go back and look.
I got to stick with Chanel. I think she's because Naseer, I also like looking at those people who maybe aren't getting the majority of the screen time, or maybe they're not looking like the top players in the game at the moment. But I do think, I mean, look at Chanel, like Daniel was saying, why is she not getting any bounce back from this when she literally voted Lydia or would have voted Lydia too? So I got to stick with my girl Chanel right now because I think she's in a good position. I think she's got great friendships moving forward. She needs to get Daniel out ASAP, but that might not be that hard. So I think Chanel's in a good position currently. So thank you, Lydia, for the question. Let's move on to Greater 11 here. We heard this very quickly mentioned in the episode. Why do you think nobody outed Drea and her scheming on an all-girls alliance? We did hear Drea say she was trying to do this all-girls alliance with her, Swati, and Tori. Naseer, sometimes these alliances, they just fall flat. They just never really get off the ground.
Yeah, that's a hard call, to be honest with you. It's like, if you want to play Survivor, don't try to get into those type. Just play the Survivor. The best day, make it out like the best day for you, and try to stay one more night and try to make. Don't try. That is me. Don't try to pick a. Okay, I want to make it a girls' alliance. I want to make a all men's alliance. No, you are there. Different personalities. Try to work, and that is your game. You play and enjoy. So those plans, if you're lucky, it may work out. If you're not,
9 times out of 10, they will not.
No.
Abraham, why do you think no one caught on to this all women's alliance? I just don't think the guys, if you're talking about Romeo and Roxroy, I don't think they had a clue it was happening. And I think Tori and Swati were just at each other's necks to the point that they weren't even thinking about, hey, let's tell the guys about this and try. It just never really got put out there.
Well, I mean, it could be a couple of factors. One, you look at it and say, okay, what have the challenges been thus far? And if we get rid of Roxroy, could we do better or do worse? So, I mean, it's the dynamics, and you kind of throw stuff on the wall and see if it sticks. Mm-hmm. If they do an all girl alliance and they vote out all the guys, they're basically cutting their throats and they're going to be done. So if you go back to Yasa tribe, the only thing that saved Yasa was that they won that one challenge and Xander stayed, because then they could still dominate, and then they just decimated the Green tribe after that because everybody got voted out. So you play a risk of any direction you go in Survivor. You don't know what's going to work until it works.
Well, both of them made fantastic points. What can you add on to this question? Because I mean, they've literally they've said everything.
Yeah, I think the Girls Alliance, I think that was mainly an idea and probably just something said in passing, like, hey, what if the girls stuck together? But I just feel like no one cared, because I think there was so much heat directed towards Swati and Tori and a little bit on Roxroy that, the idea of a Girls Alliance was kind of shot dead by that point. So I think no one really outed Drea because the alliance might have formed initially, but I don't think it really went anywhere. It just kind of died where it began.
It was never a locked thing, and that's the thing. I don't think it got put out because it was never. They're definitely doing a girls' alliance, because I'm pretty sure if you have a great knowledge of the game, which almost everyone does now, although we don't. Sometimes we question that because of the moves made, but you never know. Like they've said, like Naseer and Abraham has said, you're out there, you're starving and stuff. So like your mind's not always, fully functional. But I will say, everyone knows that the possibility of an all male, all female alliance is possible. So it's always on the back of everyone's minds, definitely. But this one just never got off the ground. So I don't think that's why. I think that's why it just never got outed there. Okay.
I think
go ahead,
I think you see it more if you got a bigger group. It's hard when it's like only 2 alliances. 6. Yeah. So if you got 2 tribes, it's just not enough people to look at Jonathan. Jonathan is dominating in challenges. So let's if you cut it down and you only got Romeo and let's say three young ladies. I'm not saying they can't be competitive, but compared to Jonathan's tribe is gonna always beat them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you just kind of put yourself in whatever position. You got to look at the whole game and kind of see how many steps ahead. Swati just overplayed herself.
It's all about winning the challenges. If you don't want to go home, if you don't want a tribal council, give your 150 to win that challenge.
Naseer, are you on the side of, this is a side question before we get to that final question. Are you on the side of keeping the tribe like strong in the beginning? Let's just keep the tribe strong to win challenges. Or do you believe there's more to the game than just let's keep the tribe as strong as possible?
Well, see, I always say keep the tribe strong as possible, and always also that then when you try to keep, then you know, like if you win the challenge, you don't have to worry about anything on that day.
Nothing. You can rest easy and eat breadfruit.
Like me and Danny, like we still like hope we're done for the day. Let's have a good time.
Yeah, Q never throw a challenge.
Right. The next day is the next day. And again, tomorrow never ends. So it's like keep moving forward. It's good to have a strong alliances. Like I even throw out like at the end, like when we are about to get merged, I said, yeah, we have our glue was fractured. They were out, right? And I said, well, let's apologize to each other. As long as it is anything gameplay wise is okay. As long as you do something, okay, I hated, she hated, yada yada, just forget about it. Let's go strong into merge Luvu 6. We should be very proud of our tribe. Guess what happened? Collapse immediately.
That's the game.
Now you're talking about girls alliances, men's alliances. All right, it doesn't work on survivor. You play like you can. That's always Jeff said. The assumptions, right? Is that right way to say assumptions? It's always not what you expect.
Hey, look, I remember Danny said when it came to merger and Tiffany was talking to him, and he was like, y'all voted out all y'all men except for Xander. So why should we trust y'all? It was funny.
Just make an alliance. I think that's the big thing is don't overthink it in the game. Just like Naseer said, play the game. You're on a journey of a lifetime. Definitely think it through if you want to make it to the end, but don't overthink it. That's the thing.
The $1 million is important, right? I wish I was on sitting final 3. That money will be in my pocket. There is no way anyone else over there can win against me.
Oh, mic drop.
I agree with that actually.
I'd have got him.
I'm seeing a whole new side of Naseer today. He's already said no one's winning, and then he threw Danny under the bus earlier.
No, Danny. See, I'm saying what I'm saying. Like Danny, I throw that under the bus intentionally.
But he knows,
with him, messing with him, and he knows that he always called me like you know, really put me in a bad position on national TV. You made me look like an idiot.
Oh man, now I just want to go back. We were talking about this, Naseer. Wouldn't it be awesome if Survivor did sort of like a Big Brother thing where they do like a bunch of behind the scenes stuff? What if they just uploaded like 2 hours of content that they didn't use, like camp conversations and stuff? They put together the best that they didn't use and put that on like a bonus episode. Because now I want to go back and hear the conversations you and Danny had about snakes and all that.
Oh, it wasn't aired on that. Like for an example, when Sydney went on that journey, I noticed something into it. I did not sleep that night at all. I was out just going around looking her everywhere. And when she came back, I told her that you were out. Where did you go?
Oh, they hadn't done that yet.
Did you have a challenge the next day? Or how tired were you?
You don't know me, my friend.
I mean,
I'm learning.
You're committed to being tired the whole time. You just get committed to it.
Yeah. All right. Let's get this question. Thank you to everyone who sent it out. Again, our final question from EQM Knights. That's the best way I can pronounce that. I'm sorry, Naseer. I wasn't going to bring it up. I mean, I thought about it, but he's making me do it, or she. Naseer, why didn't you play your idol? The people want to know. It's a big part of the game, going out with an idol in your pocket. What was your thinking? Walk us through it.
So, did you remember I said one thing? All that you need is just one person to have a good alliances. The only person I trusted truly was Shan.
That's what got you. That's what got
The whole reason, let me finish. The whole reason I trusted Shan. So I played in Luvu. I was on the chopping block. I have no vote to vote because I had that advantage, right? So also many things. Still, I was fine totally. So the only reason I trusted because I grew up with religion background, right? A lot of religious leaders helped me and supported me and encouraged me on things. So as a pastor, when she said pastor, I had a huge respect because no matter what game you play, you should have a little bit of integrity. That's what I was thinking. That is the only reason I was thinking. Otherwise, see, everybody is so nice over there, right? I did not trust anyone, including Danny, including Deshaun, or Erica, or Heather, or Sydney. I trust none there, right? All right. So that's the only reason. But I was thinking, I know I was the biggest threat over there, plain and simple. All right. So I told them very clearly, all right, so easy vote, Heather. All right. But that's what I was thinking. I told I'm very loyal. Then we have been good. Shannon, Ricard, we step forward and give up our winning the one of the challenge to get the rice and all kind of stuff. But then we moved on. Then that challenge, I lost my right arm, the feelings, right? Then I wasn't thinking that far. I have already loyal to these two. And for them, that was a bad move of Shan agreeing to go because then she followed me right after me, right? Because I was solid number. I was thinking, I know that I'm afraid I'll be gone soon. I want to hold that idol one more day. All right. So in that case, if I have one more day, it's easy plan. If Heather goes, then Erica and Heather will be split, and Erica has no chance to go and join Danny or Deshaun alliances because nobody trusted her. Right. Then she has to join us. We had the number. Then when I go back, I don't know which one to join, right? Because at that time, Danny, Deshaun, we are already good friends. We had some.
Yeah, you had a good connection.
Yeah, we had a good connection already. So I don't have to worry about it because all that I need to get out of that island and to meet my Luwu guys or Luwu alliances, right? Then I'm good to go. But the trust, that's what I'm saying. The trust, and I wasn't thinking that much. My arm is totally numb.
Yeah.
And I want one more day. It did not happen. Yeah, it was a bad move for me, but it was a bad move for them too. For Ricard, it was a good move.
It's a ruthless game because we all know it can flip like that. But the thing is, the opinions on like people on the what ifs can flip like that too. And what I mean by that is, you go out with an idol and everyone is like, oh my gosh, he didn't play an idol. Like, why not? Like, but let's say it worked and you chose not to play it and you held on to it for a while. Then everyone is praising you. Man, he's got balls of steel and stuff like that. Like, man, he is so smart. It can turn just like that. It's like, it's ruthless. You make one choice and I don't think people understand how difficult it has to be to make that call too.
Yeah, like, and I wasn't even expecting, or I never even was thinking on that night to play the idol because we had.
So it was no question.
No question. I wasn't even thinking about playing because I know it. We had these solid alliances. It's good for them. And I told them straightforward because that was my mistake too. I told Shannon and Ricard, hey, let's get to final 5 or 6. Then we can play. I don't mind after that. Because then we can play to each other. Like, for an example, we had a solid alliance, right? Like, that's what I'm trying to say. It's okay. You have a loyal person, right? Can win challenges. So let's stick together. If you break these alliances, if I go home, one by one, you will come to. That happened.
Would you change anything about your game and how you played, or did you like how you played?
I was an idiot. I will play the idol as soon as I found. As soon as I find the idol, I will play the idol. But guess what? Again, I can say that now because that is how I came home, right? Or blindsided. No, my name was thrown around, but still I don't play because you can sometimes it's your gut say it's like don't play. You go with gut feelings, right? Sometimes you have no clue. That is why this game is so beautiful.
It is I keep telling my friends don't watch Survivor and stuff. And I try to get them, hopefully one day they'll give it a shot. And I just tell them every day, it's the best. I know people say this about everything. It's the best thing on television as far as I'm concerned, because it's just such a fun game. And we've talked about it multiple times, how it can just flip just like that coin flip.
Oh, yeah.
Naseer, I already know the answer to this, but we always end with our guests asking this question.
Okay.
Would you go back if they gave you the call?
Sometimes I do look at my phone every day. Like maybe I had a missed call from Jeff or Jesse. Then guess what? I'm ready now. I wasn't ready like a couple of months ago. Still, I was doing therapy for my right arm and everything.
Yeah.
I'm back to normal. So
if they gave you a call right now to be out there tomorrow, you'd go?
Oh, yeah.
I'll be right next to you.
Same.
How about Abraham?
Oh, I'm going. I'm standing right next to him. I can't let him go by himself.
Well, before we wrap this up, Will, Abraham, do you guys have anything else for Naseer while we have him here?
Just thank you for coming on the show. I'm not saying this because you're here, but like it was you, Abe, Brad, and like I think Xander. I was like a huge, because your positivity is just so.
I can back him up on that.
Yeah. No, I was just spamming Randy then, like, oh my god, I'm about to meet Naseer. Oh my god. But your positivity is just so contagious. Like I'm just grinning ear to ear, just listening to you count stories about lying to Danny about the snake and spiders, you know?
That's a story that will stick with us. Abe, you got anything, man?
I mean, Naseer, because I got we got so much information from different people when we got on the show and the show was in it. But Randy puts this together and Will is helping him out and he's with him. And they reached out and I was like, who is this guy? But I've been on with him. I've been having a great time. So this has been a great opportunity for me just to hang out and to continue being a part of Survivor. So no complaints from me, man. Will and Randy, hey, kudos to you guys for keeping this going.
Much love, man. We can't thank you guys enough for being here and talking and really helping us, get this thing going and stuff like that. Naseer, all the time you took out trying to get on the podcast, we really appreciate it, man. And thank you for being here today. We hope you had a fun time, and you can go ahead. You're not going to get a physical thing in the mail, but here's your open letter, your open invitation to come back. If you ever want to chat Survivor with us, you know where to find us.
Okay, anytime, but I'm in PST time zone.
Well, yeah. See, and I learned that during the break, guys, and I'm like, I was assuming for us it's almost midnight, and I was assuming it was almost midnight for Naseer. I'm like, we can't hold him here any longer.
No, because I had to during weekdays, a weekend with family time, and all weekdays like I commute. My commute is so bad. It's like it takes a little over an hour each way.
That's what I do that for my job, about an hour.
Yeah. So that's what I was saying. Like today, I'm like, hey, even 5 minutes is important for me. I'm out of here, So I wanted this to happen. I made a couple of calls this morning and afternoon, and finally it happened. Thank you, and thank you so much for inviting my brother from Survivor.
It's always good to see you, man.
Well, I really appreciate it for your time. And Randy, I mean, you guys have a bright future. I can say that.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure talking with you. So we're going to wrap this up, though. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Naseer, do you want to say where they can catch you on Instagram?
Well, you can catch me on Instagram. You can catch me on YouTube. You can catch Twitter. My wife is mocking me around, on Twitter.
Naseer, what's up with the cooking? I thought you were doing some cooking stuff.
Well, so yeah, I did completed my cooking book, a cookbook. So it's under editing and will be done soon. So I don't want to. I'm not selfish. I want to be. If I'm sharing something, I want to share about season 42. I want to support Survivor. I want to have more viewers. Then, of course, I will publish my book, and also I started doing some YouTube videos. Please go and subscribe me. And
what do we type in on YouTube to find you, man?
Sorry.
What's your YouTube? Is it just your name?
You can get Naseer Muttalif.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So Naseer Muttalif, then I want to do a channel to show how to cook Sri Lankan food and how to cook some food that I cooked on Survivor. And
if we ever meet up at an event, I want to try some of that Sri Lankan food.
Absolutely.
I
Lately,
want-
I
Crab
have
curry
cooking.
looks delicious.
My mom is here. She's leaving day after tomorrow, so that's the reason I did not post any videos, because I want to enjoy that food while she's here. So moving forward, I'll be cooking. I will be posting some videos, and subscribe me, share the information, and when the book is ready, you always get a complimentary, downloadable book.
That is so awesome. Well, let us know when it's ready, just so we can let everyone know to go check that out. And then you can check out our Instagrams, Will, Abraham, and I. It's all in the bio on our Instagram page at Survivor Now Podcast. Well, thank you once again, Naseer, and everybody. Thank you for listening. You'll catch us here same time next week, and then we'll be recording Survivor Australia Blood versus Water, our breakdown here in a short while. Basically, we're still figuring that out. But have a great night, guys. Thanks again.